Open a beer quick.
Alrighty, sick. That was a good old-fashioned beer crack. This is the second episode of the off-topic episodes for the Two Planker podcast. This week I have a great friend of mine. I've known him since 6th grade. Basically got me into skiing, and we've come a long way since. Derek Simpson, known as Iceberg on the gram.
Hi there.
What up, Derek?
Yeah, not a lot.
I know, we had work all day together.
Yep. Yeah, long day at work. It's a long season during the winter, but you get through it.
Oh yeah. You've been skiing not a whole lot, but a little bit this year.
Yeah, a little bit. Gotten a couple days in. Definitely slowed down a little bit.
Doing a whole bunch of road biking. But let's start off with just your backstory. I mean, we met in 6th grade. We came from the same town in Pennsylvania, little old Mechanicsburg. But you actually basically got me into skiing because I was a snowboarder when we met.
Mm-hmm.
And what got you into skiing?
So, I guess initially, a good point to make is that our home mountain was, maybe 12 minutes away from my house. Well, you lived like a mile away from my house. So, we were able, and it was open until 10 p.m. every night, so we were definitely able to go skiing very, very often, even with having like a normal school schedule compared to what the kids out west are able to do. It would be get out of school, and I mean, back in middle school, it would be get out of school and have one of our parents run some sort of carpool situation and drive us up to the resort and pretty much close it out every night till 10 p.m., which was pretty cool. Originally, I got into skiing because of my dad. Whenever I was 2 years old, I think he put me on skis.
Oh, wow.
My first time, I don't know, or at least my parents tell me this story where my first time that I was on skis was on this little backpack rig that my dad was carrying me around on while he was skiing in Beaver Creek, which whenever I was 18 months old, which sounds wildly dangerous, but supposedly it happened. But yeah, I ended up getting into ski racing just because my parents were adamant about it. My dad was super into it, and all of his buddies and his chums were very interested. And I don't know, I think it was kind of more of a beer event for them where they'd put their kids in ski racing and
have beers and have fun and yell at them.
Yeah, and yeah, so I was probably skiing before getting into park even a good 5-6 days a week, just doing ski racing, and never got super good at ski racing. It was a great time, met a lot of great people that I still talk to this day.
I was going to say, I remember when you would kind of start getting away from the racing and you'd like in between practice or like racing practice or something, you'd like come over to the park and you'd like go to practice on your twin tips and just be like, dude, it's so boring. Like, I just want to be here in the park all day. Yeah.
And like, I think it was Tuesday night. What do they call it? Tuesday night club or whatever.
I think it was Thursday. Wasn't it Thursday?
It was one day of the week where like the school would bus kids up with nightclub cards to the resort.
It'd be like multiple schools coming on one night.
Yeah, and we'd go up and do that. And that's whenever, I mean, I had racing practice those days, and I think I darted out pretty often in middle school to go ski park. Yeah, and I got super into it. And then, I don't know, Dad wasn't too stoked about it initially. But
I remember you going through a bunch of pairs of skis.
Yeah, and like, I mean, it was whenever, I don't know, like every Saturday in the lot there, he'd have cookouts with like all of his buddies and invite all my friends and whatnot just behind his truck, and that was super fun. So I'd have races in the morning, and then I'd go ski park in the afternoon, and just like wait it out all the way till 10 p.m. every Saturday, Sunday. And that was super chill.
I definitely remember those 13-hour days.
Yeah, it hurts like hell. I don't think I could put in more than a 3-hour day nowadays. I mean, these are just not cooperate. But I think there was one year where I remember I ended up negotiating out a pair of full tilts for like an all A's report card.
Nice.
With my parents, and I wear like a 10.5, 11 shoe, and I remember I went to I ended up going to the ski shop after getting good grades somehow, and found some like 2 year ago Tom Wallish
It was the red ones,
drop
wasn't
kicks.
it?
Yeah, the red ones with the laces on it.
Oh my god.
And
Dude.
I got 29.5s, and the guy fitting my boots was just like, "Are you sure?" And obviously, and now I'm like running a 26.5, which is, yeah, like I can't believe, super sloppy. And I know you did the same thing.
Yeah.
Where you were running some 29.5 bullshit.
Yeah, $100 eBay full tilts that were way too big, but I could afford them.
Yeah, and I remember trying to put a race boot on after having this fucking boot on that was
too big.
That was 2.5, 3 sizes too big for me. And I remember pulling up, I was wearing these Oakley pants that I thought were super steezy. They were medium. And I remember wearing this 3XL Under Armour hoodie. There's like the local guy at the time, Mike Urich, was sponsored by Under Armour. And I thought it was so sick that I found this 3XL Under Armour hoodie. So I remember riding up the lift in my race skis, like after just like kind of getting into it, my dad being like, I just want to go free ski. I want to go to the park. I remember trying to go like jam myself in these race boots, and like that day was the last day that I was a ski racer.
Gotcha.
And I just stopped from then on out after putting those fucking Langs on. And
that was like true racing, because you did still do skier cross, right?
Yeah. I did I used to race like slalom and GS, and then got into a little bit of Super G, but that was like pretty limited just due to the circumstances of living in Pennsylvania on a 400-foot mountain where you couldn't really set up a Super G course. And then I got into skier cross because my buddy Chris Wilson, he was super into border cross at the time, and he was going to nationals, and I was like, damn, no one's doing the skier cross shit, so I could present it as me being like a national level athlete to my parents. And there's like 70 motherfuckers in the US competing in it. So I'd do like a couple races a year and then get involved in that, and ended up like going out to Copper, I think 2 times for nationals, which was super fortunate to be able to go do that. It was a phenomenal experience. I remember one time I think I was with you.
Yeah, I went out one time with you.
I did like I don't know, I wasn't used to hitting like 40-foot kickers, and I just did like a backy off of it, or off of one 40-foot kicker at Copper, and I over-rotated and smoked my dome super hard. And it was like, I remember Ryan like being like, dude, are you okay? I was like, don't tell my parents, because I hit my head so fucking hard. And like, I don't know, that was probably one of my undocumented concussions of many.
I was going to say, I think you skipped practice that day for us to go hit park. And then I think that was that year that you learned backflips on like a 20-foot jump at Round Top.
Yeah.
And we went to Copper, and they just had like perfect 40-foot jumps. And I just remember you going through the jump line. I didn't even hit those jumps at that time. And I just remember at the bottom just looking up, and you went big and then just backslapped so hard.
And I think I learned how to do a backflip in 7th grade. I think there was this girl that I was interested in that I wanted to impress. And
that does it.
And I figured it out after like 2 times, and it was just like, everyone that has done one knows how ecstatic of a feeling it is.
Oh yeah.
Getting your first backy and just chucking them all night. Like, so fun, but yeah, definitely, yeah.
Those are some fun times at Copper, running around the village at 15-something years old.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Sick. We also ended up going to snowflex camps because neither of us were able to go to Wendell's or anything like that.
Yeah, and snowflex was amazing. I think every inverted rotation that I've ever, or that I like learned on skis, every basis I learned at snowflex. Besides I think like Misties I learned without snowflex, and rodeo or switch rodeo I learned without snowflex. But
switch Misties was a snowflex thing.
Yeah, and that was a super fun camp. John Stelter and Kirk Scully were like the big dogs there teaching all these tricks. Yeah, Kellen was like our coach, but he was out of the mix. He was on some other stuff, which is super funny because we're very good buddies now.
Yeah, he's my roommate.
It's fun too. We just I just moved in with Ryan and I's childhood friend
Mike Bledgy.
Yeah, and then Ryan ended up finding a house with Kellen that was right next door, so it's a little bit fratty, but it's a fun living experience, to say the least.
We're late 20s. It's a little less fratty, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Snowflex was so integral to me actually like learning how to ski well, and it was so easy to get to. It was like 4 hours and 20 something minutes away from the house, and there were some like really cool camps there. It's super accessible. And
it was super loose for a camp. Whenever we went, it was crazy.
It was somewhat loose.
Yeah, but I mean, for being on a very strict Christian college campus.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. It was pretty fun.
It was a little AWOL, but super fun. The skiing was so much fun, and like just being able to just kind of chance yourself and not have too many repercussions most of the time was pretty fun. Rail skiing wasn't super assistive in that, but for I don't know, just for an East Coast kid learning how to jump a little bit, it was perfect.
Yeah, I remember those nights under the lights, the amazing sunsets, and just everybody riding the little tow rope up to the jump. It was definitely really sick. I remember trying some stuff that I would have never tried on snow there, just because you have the foam under your feet when you land.
Yep.
Definitely got to cover your skin up because that stuff burned you, but
hurts like hell.
You had a pretty wild accident there the one year, right?
Yeah. Spacing on
Switch Misty Nines.
What was the homie's name that taught me those?
He was the dude who was doing the dub
Connor's
backs,
his little
right?
brother. Connor's his little brother.
I kind of don't remember.
I don't know.
It wasn't one of the Stelzers?
No, it was his little brother's name was Connor. I don't know why I can't remember it right now. Doesn't really. I mean, it'll probably pop up later on.
I can call this out.
Yeah, and basically, I learned Switch Misty Nines the night before. And that trick was I don't know, it was super technical for out of any of my buddies that were able to ski at all.
Yeah, we're used to small jumps. You need something decent size to learn that.
I don't know why I was so stoked on doing them, but I ended up doing the night before. The session was in the morning, and then there was chill time during the day, and then another session later in the evening. And I remember I learned them. I think second try I got them, and it's a pretty chill trick to fall on. If you under rotate it, you go straight to your hip, so it's not extremely consequential most of the time. But so I ended up doing them over and over, and the next morning I'm really fired up to do them again, to be all right, I really got this, and I take one speed run and kind of I don't know, I wasn't thinking much, I was just more excited. And the second run that I take, I end up doing Switch Misty 9, and rotation's fully complete, and I'm still 15 feet off the ground, and I start moving forward an off-kiltered Superman front flip, essentially.
Just towards one of your your right foot or something.
Yeah. And then I end up hitting the ground pretty flipping hard, and and I remember knocking my head real bad, and something didn't feel right, so I went to the doctor, etc. Didn't ski the rest of the time that I was there, and then Mike and I, my new roommate and Ryan's next door neighbor, we were in high school, and we were dude, let's get jacked. This is whenever we finally get home from camp, and we were going to Planet Fitness, just super scrawny, every day. I think we were being shitheads. I think Mike was saying dude, we should just rip shots of vodka before going to the gym. He had some methodical idea of how it made it more to make it more beneficial to your workout. And I remember it was my back hurt so fucking bad, and I'm just doing this, and all of a sudden I played water polo in high school, and started doing preseason for that. And one time I just jerked my back, and I was nah, this is fucked up. Like, I need to go to the hospital and check it out, like, get an x-ray.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, dude, you broke your back. Like, it's been broken for a while. And, yeah, that sucked. And, like, I kind of knew something was up for a while, but whatever. I mean, it sucked, too. I was working at this trampoline park at the time, and I had this back brace on, and, like, you know how hard it is not to jump on a trampoline when you, like, are around them all fucking day. Like, it's not easy, you know? Like,
I forgot about that job.
Yeah, getting excited about it, and it was just like, dude, come on. But, yeah,
Dang, I totally forgot that you, like, waited a while to, like, go to the hospital after the snowflex thing.
Yeah.
You've skied through or just, like, done stuff through pain before, because now that we're talking about this, it kind of reminds me of the knee injury, and you skied the entire month of Hood still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which was wild because you were still throwing down. I think I remember a line was a switch Misty 9 to cork 7 or cork 9, and then you went into the rails and did 2P2 to lip on to the up flat donkey rail, Misty 6 out.
Maybe.
And that was all one line. I remember filming it. And
no, I remember all I remember of that was doing, it was like an up rail, and it was like a Misty 6, and then I went into a 4-pretz too, like on a down rail.
But you hit a jump line first, because I remember you were just like, dude, can you just get this whole run? And I was like, fine,
fired
dude.
up, yeah. Yeah, and like...
You had a broken piece off your tibia?
Yeah, like my patellar tendon, I mean, a lot of people have Osgood Schlatters, but I had that, and a couple years earlier, wait. Oh, that makes sense, yeah. So, a couple years earlier, or maybe that was earlier that season, but I snapped it off, and it was kind of like a non-issue, where like the Osgood Schlatters bump I like snapped off, and it's connected to my patellar tendon, which is connected to your kneecap, and I skied on it for a while, and shit's just like, it's still, I don't know, I got surgery on it already, but it's like still doesn't react properly, so I think I might have busted it off again. I don't really know, or it didn't grow back right, but yeah, I remember like, skiing and it crested Butte, like, and it just was hurting so bad, just like so much ibuprofen and
cans.
Yeah, and like just covering up whatever feeling I had in my knee, and it just hurt like hell. But yeah, I ended up going to Hood, and I think that summer is the summer that I like ended up finally being like, all right, I'm just gonna get surgery on and get it done.
Well, I think you said you like went to the doctor or something to get it checked, and he was like, yeah, like keeps like continuing to ski isn't going to make it any worse, but it's going to be very painful.
Yeah, so I wanted to wait till summer.
Because that was your second year at Hood, right?
I don't remember.
I think that was. I don't think that was the first one.
No. Definitely not the first one. The first one was like a rainstorm monsoon year.
Yeah, that was the first year. Because that was both of our first years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Getting stuck in Oregon.
Yeah, and ended up staying in Oregon thanks to Derek's uncle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blair.
Yeah, that's a fun story too. We're like, so my uncle has this, like, it's probably a 40-foot yacht, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a sick fucking boat.
He got it for free.
He got it for $1. Yeah. Where like someone, I don't know, he's been around in Hood River for a while, super connected, and he's like the kind of guy that does fix-up projects.
Yeah, some guy was selling land, and there was this boat that was put on blocks on this land, and the guy was just like, if you come get it, it's yours. Yeah. And apparently there was all these guys that were like working on the land that always joked about taking it off the owner's like hands and stuff, and Blair freaking goes over to this boat that's been sitting on land for 10 to 15 years and just starts it right up, not even putting fresh gas in it or anything, like starts it up on land, and then just gets one of his buddies to take it to the Hood River Marina and just plop it in there. It wasn't fully running, but somehow he just got it to start right up.
Yeah, and it was like, I think he put a couple hundred into electrical work.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh,
something like that.
He's done a lot of work.
Yeah, he just like fucked with it. And then, so sure enough, Ryan and I wanted to go out to Hood, and I mean, most people go out and camp, and like, I don't know, Blair offered we were camping for a little bit, and it started raining really bad, and I'm not like a camp type.
Not when it's crazy weather like that.
Yeah, I'm not like,
it's rough.
Super into living in the woods. I'll go hang out in the desert, but yeah. And yeah, Ryan and I ended up staying on this yacht, and it's like, it's still like there's very surely remnants of it being out of use for 18 years on land. But it was freaking cool, man. Like, there's this ice machine, and it was like, oh my god, yeah, we were like,
It was a boat from 1978.
yeah.
And it was like a really nice, expensive boat in 1978.
It was like a Coke dealer boat.
Yeah, it had a kitchen, it had a bathroom, a nice couch area, a full like queen size bed.
Yeah, it was sick, super sick, and sure enough, Ryan thought it was sick, and yeah, I ended up flying out. I needed to go home to kind of like I think I needed to go home, or was that the year I needed to deal with my knee? I don't even think so. I just wanted to go home at that point. I was like,
it was a month. It was a month of skiing.
We were there for
crazy
a while.
weather.
And then Ryan was supposed to go home, and he ended up staying. And he just talked to my uncle, and he's like, dude, can I like stay on the boat for a little longer? And that's when he ended up like sticking around and making some contacts in Hood River and buying the RV, I believe.
Yeah. I think we got into that in some other Two Planker podcasts. So if you want to go back and listen to those, definitely look into the Two Planker archive, because there's a whole lot of history involved in what Ethan's doing. But to get back to camping stories, because there was another year, I don't know if it was this same year, but I think we went down to Lolo Pass to camp with Owen and all the Steam Boys and stuff. And
yep.
I think it was, I don't know, I think we were on the boat, and then we were just like, let's go camp in the woods with the boys for one night or something. Mm-hmm. And I think it was your car. I can't quite remember it all. I drove. So you slept outside in a hammock, and you had a crazy story that happened that night.
Yeah. So we all went to sleep. It's, if you ever camped out in Mount Hood, you know that it's like, I don't know, people aren't cleaning up their food at night for the most part.
No, that was a pretty dirty campsite, I believe.
Yeah. It's like whenever people are leaving, they're cleaning their shit up. But yeah, it's not like you're like being bear safe.
I don't think we ever really thought about bears at that time. We were just like, we're camping in the woods to go skiing, not really thinking about it.
Yeah, so basically what happened is I had one of those Eno hammocks, and they have the clips on them, and I'd always like, whenever I'd sleep in it overnight, I would clip my shoelace on and flip it over so I couldn't see anything. And I woke up at like, I think it was like 5 in the morning, and I woke up and there's this like pressure on my chest that woke me up. And I thought I was like lucid dreaming or some shit. And basically I was like, all right, like I found my phone to like complete like a simple action to be like, all right, like I'm awake. I was like, all right, find my phone, open the calculator. Like, cool, I'm awake. Like I just did that. And all of a sudden I'm like, there's something fucking pushing down on my stomach. And I realized like, this is not normal. And I think I'm like, this is a fucking bear. And I like hold my arms over, just like crossed over, like corpse mode pretty much. It's like over my chest. And I'm just laying there in fear. And this bear like eventually like hops off. And I'm still like freaking out because I'm like, what? It's probably fucking around with the food or something. Like it's not doing anything normal. And, or I guess not normal, but it's probably doing normal bear things. But it ends up like coming back a few minutes later. And I could just hear it just like heavy breathing right next to my hammock. And I had this neon green hammock, so I could see its silhouette through. And I could just hear it breathing and see its face probably like, maybe like 2 feet away from my head. Jesus. And I could just smell it. And it was horrific, dude. Like, it's just like seeing that. And I've always had like a thing with bears where they've always freaked me out. But that's like, that really fucked with me. I remember like, I ended up hearing like, eventually it's probably like 30, 45 minute like thing where it's like keeps coming back. And like, yeah, it was just weird. And eventually I hear a car drive by and I'm like, it had to have fucking scurried off. So I jump out of my fucking hammock and I sprint to Ryan's car and I start banging on his window. He's so mad at me. I'm like, let me in the fucking car. Like, and I was so scared, dude. And I remember I was like sore you're already wicked sore whenever you're out at Hood. Yeah. But just from skiing so much. But I remember being like extremely sore in my upper body from shaking so much for the next 2 days because like of how much like fear I was in, because I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking pop out of a hammock and encounter this bear. Like that's not my plan. And like quite frankly, like I don't know, I didn't know what kind of bears were there, but like either way, it's a fucking bear. Yeah. So
that's a crazy story. I remember you telling me that, and I just I sleep through anything, so I had no idea, and I just wake up to him pounding on my window, and he's just telling me, dude, there's a bear. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I was just he was so terrified. I was like, dang, there must have been something.
Yeah.
Because, I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was not cool. And that's why I don't really like camping.
That was your last time camping down at Lolo Pass, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that was my last time camping in the woods, to be honest.
You just went to the boat every time?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just go stay at my uncle's house or go hang out at the boat, which is it's an hour drive, but shit, I'll take that to go take a shower.
Yeah, I mean, if you get down to Hood River 4:30, 5 o'clock, there's still sunlight in the summertime, and Hood River is such an amazing town.
It's 80 degrees out, just by the river.
The waterfront,
cool,
people
man.
kiting.
Yeah, all my cousins live there, and aunt and uncle, so it's fun to see them.
Yeah. No, Hood River is an amazing place. It's freaking sick.
Yeah, man, I haven't been there for a minute. Definitely need to go back.
But yeah, more on the side of skiing. One of the things that I don't know if most people know, I'm sure a lot of people do, at least core people in skiing, is you started and own Syndicate Outerwear.
Yep.
Which a lot of us have worn the past couple years. I have a pair. They're some of my favorite, most durable pants, for sure.
Just need to be back here.
Even my sock. Yeah, that's what people say. I definitely remember us talking about it at the beginning and stuff like that. But I definitely, watching the whole process, if you go through that, was just pretty sick. Just finding out manufacturers, figuring out shipping, the whole website building, all that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And
that was
if you want to start talking about that, I mean, how many years, or 2 years, or you're 2 years, 3 years in?
I started doing it, I think July 1st is whenever I wrote out my first, or July 1st, 2020 was whenever I wrote out my first contract to hire someone out to manufacture or to make a tech pack for me.
Gotcha.
Which is the apparel equivalent to a blueprint for a house.
Gotcha.
It's every little bit of detail that goes into manufacturing a pair of pants, or
where the pockets are, the waist sizes.
Yeah, versus what length. Style of zipper, what brand of zipper, what style of stitching, what material, what dyes. It is hyper technical, and I knew that I really wanted to do it. So, and I knew what I wanted to make. So basically, I had to figure someone out to do it, because I don't have any experience doing that, and that's not something that I was I'm sure I could have figured out how to do it on my own if it would have been done poorly, though. Yeah,
because this all kind of sprung up from you always having Lethal Descent pants. Mm-hmm. They always hooked you up.
Yep.
And them going out of business, and him just floating you gear for years and years after they went out of business, and you were just kind of dude, we could make something, or you could make something that's really sick and
similar.
And was it kind of also just COVID kind of, was COVID involved at all in your decision making?
Yeah. So first things first, I guess. So Lethal Descent used to hook me up with pants. I bought them for a while before, and then Kevin Slattery, or I believe that's how you say his last name, he was running Lethal Descent, and he ended up not doing it anymore. And he was still hooking me up with pants, and I just fucking loved the pants, man. The durability on them was money. The material, it just felt like such a high quality product. And what I was wearing the last year production of that product for maybe 3 seasons of skiing, where I was all right, there's a couple things I don't like about these, and a lot of things that I really do like about them. So I reached out to him, just gave him a call, and I was like, dude, I really want to try and remake this product. It's fucking awesome, and I appreciate it so much, and the quality of it, and I promise I'll do it some justice if I'm gonna do so. And he gave me a lot of information on just business insights of how the products work, and just I don't know, just how he operated the company. So moving on from there, I pretty much was like, yeah, I said like, I don't want this part, I want this part. And I brought that to a person that I like found on Google that lives, like 30 minutes away. Her name's Mabel, and her husband are Roberto Alarcon. And they were so helpful in the whole process. They walked me through everything, and like, we just have these meetings where it's like, what do you want to do about this? Like, what kind of like, how are we going to like connect, like, or how's this pocket going to be trimmed, or like, do we want like snap buttons, or do we want magnets? Like, do we want this waterproofed, or do we want like an extra like seal on it? Like, everything was so down to the details, where some of the questions, like, I thought I had it fully like planned out, where I'd be like, holy crap, like I really need to like look into this even more. Yeah. Like, or like, that's what they do, is they manufacture this stuff. And
Gotcha.
So that was really cool. It ended up starting in May. I kind of wanted to do it for a while, and then COVID hit, and sure enough, I was unemployed and just kind of like skiing. Like, we were just going up to Brighton a lot, and everyone was being pretty cautious about it, but we'd all
and
meet
you were
up
making that unemployment stuff, right?
Yeah.
Through COVID.
Yeah, there was like,
that's sick.
Yeah, I was like fresh out of college and haven't really had money. It was like right after I moved to Salt Lake. I think COVID hit like 3 months after, but haven't really had like money kicking around to spend on a project like that. And randomly, like, the government's just pissing money out.
Yeah, the stimulus, and then
and I was like, uh-oh, like, this is when I can do this. This is when I'm going to have the time. It would be silly for me not to take the opportunity to be doing this right now.
Yeah.
And so basically started right there, and I was like talking about the idea with a lot of my friends for a while, and I ended up like, I was flying to Florida we were filming for like Lion Traveling Circus down at Wasatch Academy, and I remember like, I don't know, I was talking to Emmett Davis, the owner of Vishnu, about it, and he was just like, dude, just like fucking do it. And I was like, okay, like, cool. I mean, you like obviously have shown that like the capability of doing.
Yeah.
So
Emmett's awesome.
I was just like, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna do it. And I ended up flying down to Florida to like visit my family, and during that time I like wrote out like, and just like what I wanted to do with the company and how I wanted to like present it to like the world. And right whenever I got back, I remember like that's when I started like taking it very seriously and starting to develop tech packs and coming up with other products. And that's where it all stemmed out from. And then you get into the whole like manufacturing in China fucking headaches, where it's like you start dealing with minimum order quantities, and like going into it very blindly from like a soft goods manufacturing standpoint, because it's like manufacturing soft goods is pretty different than manufacturing a hard good. I personally don't have much experience in hard goods at all, but whole soft goods side of it, like you'd just be like, oh, I have this shit so dialed, like it's all running smoothly, it's all working out, and then they're just like, all right, well, you have to make 300 units of each fucking color, and you're just like, where the fuck am I going to figure out how to do that, or how to sell that many units?
Yeah.
So especially
that's like, just like the initial start of a brand, just being like, oh yeah, it's like ski pants aren't the cheapest thing, or like if you're buying 300 of them, the initial upfront, exactly.
It's definitely not cheap to be doing. But fortunately, like, the people that I used to make my tech pack had some like connections in China, like factory wise. So I was able to like have some leveraging power through like past connections and past like purchases they've done by helping factories with other people that they've like helped along the way. Gotcha. If that makes sense. It's like a very relationship based culture over there, but I mean, you have to like, you also like, there are numbers and you need to meet those numbers or they're not going to do business with you. And then you can kind of like wiggle around and go to other places, but it might not be as high quality. And yeah, like done that with a couple other products. Like, or one of the things that I made was an anorak jacket, and I had those made in Pakistan. It's like you can get stuff made in different countries, but it doesn't mean it's gonna like it could be done well. You gotta be careful with who's making your stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of rambling, but
no. I'm sure people. Yeah. I mean, Ethan was, whenever he was talking about getting you on, he's just like, dude, just talk about Syndicate. Like, it was just, I don't know. It's cool having a homie of yours that you grew up with and ski together, and just start this company. And everyone had pants for the first year of it, and everyone was stoked. And we made what you paid for Ethan E-Cooks to make a ski video. And
Ethan did like a bunch of photos for such a good deal. I'm so appreciative of him for that. And then Owen Dahlberg did the video, and I remember that being like a peak pinnacle of figuring out how, I don't know. It was
just like the marketing side?
No, just coordinating how fucking difficult it is to coordinate like 10 skiers to be together at the same time on the same day, wearing like what I want them to wear.
Not all wearing the same stuff.
And it all worked out. Like it was like, it was March 26th, I want to say, like 20, that would have been 21. After everything, or after like whenever you like order stuff at like a big level, and you have intentions of using it in marketing material, which obviously you're going to if you want, especially for a product like this, where like a lot of the time it sells itself off of people seeing someone else using the product. Like you end up, it's called a sales sample. So I had like 10 units of each tech hood that I made and 10 units of each pant that I made come in at like super premium cost, because they have to they have to go through every process to make this short run of everything. And we're just getting them in the mail and being like, cool, like dish them out to all the homies that I'm like interested in, that I think have like unique styles of skiing, or like honestly like people that are just like approachable on the mountain as well, was one of the things that I wanted to use. Or it's like, like this they look good skiing, but like also like, holy shit, like this is someone that like a young kid could come up to and ask for advice, and they're going to give them advice and like help them out.
You had some pretty good people on board.
And that was fun. But I mean, it was a good crew. And I remember it was like my birthday is March 22, and I remember like having to trade off one of my shifts. I was like, I'm going to work this day. I need this day off. And that was like the last piece of being like, like we have to get this video done this day, because there's never going to be a chance that it works out again. And then it had to be sunny. And it was sunny as all hell, which was beautiful. And that's like right after making those materials, like that's where I kind of announced the company. And that's after all the like manufacturing, or not all the manufacturing headaches, but the majority of the headaches that came with the initial process were kind of done. I mean, headaches is a bad way to put it. It's like more so just learning experiences. But it was great seeing everything come together and having like all the media together. No,
that's it. I definitely remember the video, and it was sweet. But I definitely remember sleeping on your couch or something. And you working on something, like trying to figure out coordinating shipping and getting everything. And I just remember you freaking out one day, just like, shit, did I ship everything, like all 300 pairs of pants, to the wrong house, like, or the wrong address?
So that was the thing, is sea freight is vastly cheaper than using an airplane to get anything shipped somewhere, obviously. Basically you use this, like the way that you ship things is you it was this the one I hate thinking about this day. So basically what happens is I had to figure out how to get FedEx to bring all these boxes from the side of a factory to the shipping port, and have someone like sign off on them.
In a different country.
And in fucking China. And I think everything shipped out of Shanghai. So it's, everything I'm waiting for these calls for whoever is shipping this from Shanghai to bring, like FedEx in Shanghai, like organizing it, it's like $900 fucking to like just get these. Well, this was the sale sample.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, God, it was such a nightmare to figure out. And then one day, whenever like the actual order was coming, I remember it was like June something. I used a freight forwarding company to like ship everything overseas. And then what happened is basically it gets to LA and then it flies over to SLC airport, which is where we're based. And then I hire on a trucker to bring over everything from there. So what happens then is, I remember like it was supposed to show up and I'm like, I'm going to sneak in a quick bike. It was supposed to show up this day. I was like, I'm going to sneak in a quick bike ride. And I'm like, yeah, I'm halfway up this canyon that I ride up pretty regularly. And I was living with Mike Bledgy at the time at a different house. But I remember him just sending me this picture of like a fucking 18-wheeler Dr. Pepper truck in the front yard just with pallets of pants on it. Like, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't realize like the sheer volume of what I actually bought was like when it comes down to like how much space it takes up. And we just put it under this like, and it wasn't that worrisome just considering like we had a garage and whatnot, but just put it under this like giant, what do you call it?
Pavilion
That's in our backyard. And there's just like all these pants sitting there. And I'm like, fuck, like this is a lot of money. I should probably figure out how to deal with this now. And then, yeah, that was a headache. But once they were finally there, it was just such a breath of fresh air where it's like, all right, this is done. Like, or not done, it's just started, but
yeah,
it's
you have the physical product now to
the
just...
pain in the ass is done. Or so I thought. You know?
Yeah. And now we're 3 years in.
Yeah.
Oh, almost 4 years.
Like,
coming up on 4.
And what, 21 was, September 21 was September 1st, 21 was the first day that everything went on sale. And, well, so it's almost 3 years, almost 3 full years, 3 seasons.
And I just got to Salt Lake this year when you were running the Thanksgiving sales and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were shipping stuff out, so it's still going.
Yeah.
Still going strong.
Yeah, I haven't really like remanufactured a bunch of stuff, just because of sheer volume of what I had to manufacture to get my foot in the door with the factory. Yeah, I mean it's been such a good learning experience. I was able to sell a ton of stuff off in the beginning, and yeah, I mean now still kind of moving through stuff to the point where I'm just like trying to recuperate some funds to hopefully manufacture the next product. And that's like, it's a bib that has an insulated, I already have the tech pack made for this one.
Yeah, I remember you showing me this, and I was just like, dude, this is it.
Yeah, so it's this bib that has like, I've always loved insulated pants. I know like a lot of people wear base layers. I don't know, I still wear base layers with insulated pants, but I get cold as hell because I don't have that much body fat on me. Yeah, so basically what I did is I had this like, it's going to be a bib that has an insulated piece that basically you would put that on before you get into your actual shell, where it would snap in with neodymium magnets.
Whoa.
To where like if it's a really cold day, you don't need to worry about like tossing on that extra base layer, but it's also not going to be like constricting all the time. Like if you want to go ski at, I don't know, you want to go ski at Brighton whenever it's 50 degrees in the spring, like you don't have to have that giant like insulated product, and it's not going to like, with the way the magnets like are attached to the product, it's not going to restrict you, and it's not going to get in your way, and it's going to feel the exact same way as a shell, but you have that extra piece like just whenever it's really cold, you know?
Yeah,
so
I remember you telling me.
Hopefully we'll be able to get that one going soon here. It's not
that, and it looked a whole lot different than the first original pants that came out. The pockets were like on the inside, like stitched and everything. And
yeah, it's definitely a little bit more technical.
Super baggy.
Yeah, they're definitely baggier, and the one thing that I'm like really hoping to do, if and when those pants get manufactured, is I want to have like a normal sizing run where it's like a nice fitted product that's a little bit oversized, but then I want to have a pair of pants that is just size big.
Gotcha.
It's not your 2XL, it's not your XL, it's size big.
Gotcha.
So
that's sick.
It's like makes it accessible for people that need technical goods to actually like use the product and purchase that product.
Yeah, have the insulated and then the springtime pant that still fits.
But
normal.
then you also have that steezy option that people that like certain demographics want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all the park skiers.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can get that going, that'd be pretty wicked. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Syndicate.com.
SyndicateOuterwear.com or Syndicate.ski. Either or. Yeah.
Sick. And towards the end of this conversation, you brought up biking and going up Immigration Canyon.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
And since at the beginning we mentioned that you haven't skied a whole lot this year, just a slow start, working a ton.
Yeah.
But you got heavily into biking in the past year and a half or so.
Oh yeah, like 2020 I got like intensely into it.
So a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got super into racing bikes, just racing road bikes. It's super fun stuff. Yeah.
And I'm sure you learned a lot from Syndicate, and that's why you now have started Insignia.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, road biking, and yeah, as mentioned earlier, my knees like still kind of busted. I mean, everyone that skis has some sort of knee problem, but my knee's pretty busted up, and it's just like never felt super strong. So I ended up getting into road biking back in 2020, and I was getting into it for like strengthening my knees, and then I ended up getting absolutely hooked on it, and it's like taken over my life almost, just how much I enjoy it.
This is year 2 of actually racing, right?
This coming summer will be my 3rd year racing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, basically, KSL is like Craigslist for Utah, and after doing it for a while, after just like riding for a while, maybe like a bit over a year, I just got into all the components and fun parts of riding bikes, and ended up buying this like group set, which is basically for people that don't ride bikes. It's like all the parts that make a bike move and shift, and yeah, it's every part of the bike that isn't the actual bike. And basically I went and bought one of these group sets from some dude on KSL, my buddy Jack, and he ended up hooking me up with this race team that I ended up on, and making a contact with that, and I just got so hooked on bike racing. Yeah, so that's been really fun, and like I originally intended it to be more so a heel up to ski better, and then it ended up just like being a very like serious new passion.
Sick. Yeah. Because you started racing, and was it first year what group was it?
I ended up
what
in
division?
Category 3 my first year, and I ended up with a state championship title for hill climb. What Category 3 is like it's like goes Cat 5 down to Cat 1, and Cat 1's like pro in the US pretty much, and ended up Category 3 is like where it kind of like separates from where people are doing it for fun to like where people are taking it seriously. And I ended up having I ended up getting like a state championship for road racing and for like hill climbs, which is just riding up a giant hill on a bike.
Dang, that's sick, dude.
Yeah.
I remember I think we talked like a couple weeks after, because I wasn't in Salt Lake, and you were just like, yeah, dude, check out this bib, and it's just like state champ bib.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that fired you up, just like, I don't know, just getting into racing and accomplishing something like that's not just like, oh, this is what I was gonna do just to heal my body and stuff like that, and just diving more and more into the sport, starting racing, and then getting something out of it.
Oh yeah, and that's like, it's equatable, like, I don't know, the whole racing, like shout out to my boy Jack who like got me into it, but it's equatable to doing like every like start of a race, and like throughout a race, it gives me the same adrenaline rush as my first backflip. I don't know why, and like mean, like, forever we'll chase it, you know? Like, it's just so fun.
Sick.
And yeah, it's so much fun. And yeah, that's like, ended up leading into, or this year, I ended up starting a cycling apparel company, Insignia Cycling, and just using my knowledge from all the stuff that I did with Syndicate. And yeah, that's been super fun making like technical apparel. It's very opposite of the skiing kind of stuff because it's like, yeah, it's super tight, like super tight bike gear, you know?
Yeah, not the baggy pants, a lot of material, a lot of layers, waterproofing.
It's a Lycra. Yeah, it's like the stuff that you make fun of your dad for when you're a kid, you know?
Yeah, it's different material than ski outerwear. It's not baggy. It's more the tight aerodynamic stuff, but that's what you need for biking.
Yep, shooting for aero, but comfy and breathable. And it's definitely been a whole different battle, like trying to figure it out. But it's super fun. Is working with other factories and trying to figure out like how I can make the best product for the cheapest, because it's what really bugged me about cycling apparel is how it's inherently super expensive. It's really hot here in the summer. It's like, I mean, it gets to 100 pretty often. And I wanted a white jersey, just like a normal white jersey earlier this year. And just because it doesn't hold as much heat.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at some of the normal companies that I would buy stuff from, and it's like $180 for a jersey. And it's the same thing as buying like, I don't know, I mean, $180 for a jersey is absurd with how much you can manufacture stuff for.
How pretty simple they are, somewhat.
Not simple, but it's like that premium is, I mean, the whole cycling industry very much revolves around retailers and like, you know, this summer I had a little bit of experience in the corporate world working for Backcountry as an assistant buyer, where like I'd see a lot of the pricing structures for apparel goods where whenever you're going to retailer, like you're doing, every time you like move something, like if I as a manufacturer move something to a retailer, it's going to double in price, and that retailer is going to double it in price when it comes to you. And that's very much how the cycling apparel world works. And it's, you know, like I wanted to make something accessible. Like, I mean, really, like I ended up starting this company because I wanted a white jersey for cheap. And yeah, and then I got really into it because that's just how my brain works, where I just had to know more about it. And eventually I had a product and a sample that I was happy with and I wanted to reach the world with. So yeah, here we are with that. And kind of did a soft launch in the fall this year on that company. I think that was around September. Yeah, probably September. And did like spring, summer stuff so far. So really going to ramp that up in the next coming months to actually like make a move on moving some inventory, and already have some good marketing assets for that as well. So we're going to, hopefully crush it in that end.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where that goes, because you also had the ski homies help you out with the videos and pictures for that as well. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That you're bringing those homies, like teaching people who are normally on skis trying to film or take pictures, and then you're going up a canyon. You got cars following bikers and stuff like that. It probably definitely opened their eyes a little bit to like filming other stuff than just skiing.
Yeah. Ethan Cook did some of the video work for for the company. And then our friend Maeve Reese, she did all the photos, and they came out stunningly.
Nice.
So excited how they came out. She did some of the like 3D product photos as well, which are just like, I didn't have a damn clue how to do that. I remember I drove up to Ogden to buy which is like, I mean, it's like 50 minutes away, but drove up to Ogden to buy a mannequin. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to buy this mannequin and I'm just going to figure out how to do it. And like, we ended up just going into a photo studio to actually like do it, and then she edited them, and it's pretty cool how to make a 3D product image, and like learning how to do that was pretty fun too.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I mean, all of it's such a good learning experience. And like the other really attractive part about the cycling apparel stuff is that minimum order quantities like compared to like the ski outerwear stuff, all the processes are a lot different, and a lot of the colors that you can do and all the patterns that you can do with cycling apparel stuff, like you can get printed onto these fabrics, while like with ski apparel stuff you might need to be dyeing it.
Gotcha.
And that's gonna result in a higher MOQ. But like with the cycling apparel stuff, I can make a couple units, not a couple, but I can make a lot less units of each color, where it allows me to be more creative and try new patterns, and can just be like, like I'm gonna make a tiger camo pattern. Like, let's see if that works. And it's not like, if it doesn't work out too well in sales,
you just don't reorder it.
It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. It's like you sell a couple and give a couple away and they're gone. You know? Yeah.
Sick. I mean, after Syndicate and stuff, I'm sure you've learned a lot. So it's going into Insignia. I'm sure it made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah. It definitely made it a lot easier. Like transitioning into it. I remember, I was like starting the company with 9 to 5. Like I started making samples back in maybe like February of earlier this year, or 2023 now. And then I had to like kind of wait till it was warm to test them. But I could at least like play with the fabrics whenever I'd like get a new sample in and be like, all right, like this could be really cool, but I need to see like its wicking capabilities and its breathability and like how it's going to handle, like, am I going to get burned as shit from wearing this like lightweight material versus something else. And when summer came around, I was like, cool, like found exactly what I wanted to make and just went for it. And originally did like 2 different silhouettes of product, one with 3 colorways and then one with 5 colorways, and then 2 colorways of bib shorts, which are, it's basically just the shorts, tight little shorts you wear whenever you're riding a bike. Yeah.
But it's sick because this isn't just like, I'm going to go ride a few times. Derek literally rides every single day in the summertime. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think like...
What's your average mileage a week?
A week in the summer? And it depends like where I am, and like, I'll go visit Florida where my mileage will be a lot higher because there's no elevation gain.
Gotcha.
But during the summer, I'm probably doing like 15 to 20 hours a week on the bike. And
that's going up and down canyons.
Yeah. And that'll result in like 300 plus mile weeks with like 30,000 feet of vertical gain. Like most weeks I'll pull that off unless I'm feeling down bad. But
have you felt that translated all back into skiing when you go skiing? Like your legs
like
are
the
jacked?
Strength?
Yeah.
Somewhat, like my overall like muscular structure like feels a lot stronger, but a lot of the like
heavy
fast
impact
twitch muscles that your body uses whenever you're skiing park and like jumping around on rails and doing jumps, like those have definitely like laid back a little bit. Like it doesn't fully translate. I think like the strength is there, but like the quickness and the agility has slowed down from riding a bike.
Just
so
reacting
much,
quickly when it comes to catching edges or sliding rails and stuff like that. Gotcha.
Yep. And that's like, I'm at the point where I'm taking racing pretty seriously now, or at least for this coming season. Like I think I'll probably do like well over 40 races this summer. And so I've been training a lot inside, and with like what I do for work right now, it's kind of hard to like just ski a lot anyways, so it works out pretty well.
Yeah. You're still doing your ride breaks here and there.
Oh yeah.
Still making the Instacuts.
Yeah.
That everybody loves.
From time to time, yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wicked, dude. Once I get back on skis, we're going to have to go ride together for sure.
Yeah. We'll see if you get a split.
I'm definitely going to go for at least one run this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for context, right now, Ryan and I are working at a ski shop in Park City that I'm managing, and he just like, whenever he moved here, he was looking for a job, so it's been super fun working together.
Yeah, finally not all over the place in the RV in one place for quite a bit of time, so
yeah,
This is the first job I've had in the wintertime in quite a long time.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a fun job. You work with a bunch of cool people, and like, if you want to go skiing, you can make it happen. And like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not managing the place, you can work 40 hours in 4 days, which is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, totally. But it's just cool seeing the other side of skiing when you're people who come from all over the world for a vacation to come in for a couple days. Some people never skied before ever. And yeah, just to talk to them. And I mean, there's definitely some funny interactions with people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool gig. It's like, it's a really cool gig.
But yeah, very seasonal. So towards the springtime, I'm definitely going back to Hood. At least I am.
Yep.
I think you have another cruise with your family again in the spring.
Yeah.
And then we're freaking hitting Italy.
Yeah, we're going to go to Europe. Yeah, we're going to go to Europe for sure. It's, Europe's a fun place. If you can figure out how to get there and dick around in Europe, go. Yeah. It's pretty fun.
I'm excited. You were telling me you went on a little trip last summer with your family, and you were just saying how sick it was, and it's just wild how you're planning it. I ended up moving here. Mike wants to go.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. Like, I'm now surrounded by my childhood best friends again, and there's a possible chance of all of us going to Italy and Europe together. I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, the things that money can do.
Ski shop money.
Yeah, like if you can figure out how to go on a trip, why not?
The European trip is sponsored by Dean Peters.
Yeah, thanks, Dean. Yeah. I don't think Dean's going to listen to it, but...
If you know who Dean is, you're a lucky person.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I'm sure listeners, people who are interested in Syndicate or just have seen it on the mountain, there's definitely been a lot of people around Park City just with the influence of you skiing around and other people and just being based here. I definitely see Syndicate all over Park City for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a fun company to operate, and I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to do so. And like, that being said as well, like if you have, I don't know, if you're like a young entrepreneur, or just want to have any like sort of entrepreneurial endeavor, like I'm always down to chat about something. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram or something. And like, I love chatting about like fun little projects that people are working on. So,
yeah, Derek loves to dive into the things he does, and he's very well-rounded when it comes to certain, like, the aspects of what he's into. I've learned that, or I've just known that about him for a very long time, and it's just like, yeah, if he's into this one thing that you're interested in or trying to figure out, he's definitely able to help.
Yeah, I mean, whatever knowledge I can, my limited knowledge, whatever I can give, I'm more than happy to share with people. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm sure there's enough insight into you, and people can look up Syndicate and Insignia and just go back and look at all the Instagram edits or just edits you've been involved in and watch your skiing and stuff like that. So definitely thanks for sitting down.
Yeah, totally.
And chatting. We'll have to do this again once we're in Italy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
some foreign country. After the summer, when you win some races and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll be living on borrowed time over there.
Oh, yeah, living on borrowed. We're always living on borrowed time.
Especially in Italy, though. Yeah.
Well, sick, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Awesome.